I'm closing in on 2,000 days in Minecraft Hardcore, which is probably the longest I've ever spent in a single survival world. However, despite all the days I've spent building and gathering resources, I have still not finished the cave transformation that I started in episode 1. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. I mean, it all started off so well, and this side of the cave actually looks pretty good. This side, on the other hand, not so much. But today, that's going to change as I'm going to transform this cave into something epic. That means adding a bunch of new farms, including sugarcane, cactus, honey, honeycomb, and pumpkins. Plus, I will be adding an interior to the iron farm room. I mean, seriously, it just looks a mess right now. And of course, that means a bunch of new buildings inside the cave, including a villager trading hall that will use a zombie curing system to get cheap trades. And if you guys know me, then you know that we'll be finishing it off with some epic details. So why not subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content? It's free and you can always unsubscribe later on if you wish. Now, before we get to work, I have something to show you. It took me nearly 2 hours of waiting, but it finally happened. Yes, they finally hatched after waiting so long after building the zoo in last episode, so we finally have some turtles. But it turns out I did miss a few, so I will be adding the brown mushrooms, the arctic foxes, the bats, and of course the new mobs from 1.20. But right now I have so much work to do, and first I need some redstone. Well, that won't do. Let's hope there's some at the raid farm. Well, not as much as I'd hoped. I guess that means I'm gonna have to go Okay, that's not bad for an hour's mining, but I'm also going to need some quartz for the observers. So let's take a quick trip to the Nether. And I guess I should probably use some of that XP to repair my pickaxe. And that should just about do it. Why do all my builds lead to digging holes? Oh well, here goes nothing. After 2 hours of digging and repairing my tools, I think we finally have enough space for the first 2 farms. I think maybe I'll have the sugarcane farm on each side and maybe the cactus at the end. I mean, I don't use much cactus anyway, so I guess it only needs to be a small farm. Plus these farms are pretty much lossless, so we shouldn't lose any drops, and the farms are super simple to build. But first I need to connect a hopper line into the farm storage so that we can automatically sort all the drops. The sugarcane drops can go into these chests, and the cactus can go over here. Perfect. Okay, time to get these farms in place. The farms are all in place now, and to get more drops I've doubled them up by stacking one behind the other on each side. And it looks like we're already getting drops, so at least I know they're working. Which means we can now work on a design for the ceiling. And I think I'll just continue with the spruce logs design so that the theme flows nicely throughout the farming area. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty awesome, and now I don't have to keep farming the stupid sugarcane so that I can craft rockets. Now I want to do something with the area by the iron farm. Man, this room really does need some work. So let's get straight to it. First, let's rearrange some of these walls and open up the room a little bit. And now I should probably add in a ceiling, as it kind of looks a bit of a mess right now. Okay, that hides all the stones, so now let's add some details and turn this into an actual room. I think we'll start with a couple of tables at each side. I'll place in a few flower pots and add some poppies in memory of the iron golems. I can't decide which way to do the carpet. No, that don't look right. Maybe I'll just go with some moss carpet instead. Yeah, that works. Now it just needs a few leaves and maybe some hanging flowers. And to make the farm look a little bit nicer, I think I'm going to switch out the walls for some red terracotta. Considering how simple this design is, I actually really like it. And it certainly does the job. And the red terracotta really does add a nice warmth to the room. Now with that all in place, we can finally start working on the actual cave. But first, I'm going to need some bees. But I think I used most of them over here in the zoo, so I guess I should round up a few more. Well, I still have a few left over, but still not enough, so I'm definitely going to need some more. There's one. Let's grab some extra bees while we're here too. Where is he going? Ooh, was that another nest? Yes, that's 2 bees and 2 nests. So I just need a few more. Check this out, I found so many. The flower forest is actually a really good place to find them. I mean, that only took me like 15 minutes. Anyway, let's head home as I'm getting a little hungry. Let's grab some emeralds and buy some more golden carrots, as next up I have a pretty big job to tackle. And yet again, my projects lead to more digging. Seriously, like, why do I do this to myself? Okay, one more time, let's do this. So that took me a lot longer than I expected, but I did do a little bit of terraforming to make the area look much nicer and a bit more interesting. Plus I've done a fair bit of texturing to the walls. So I think I'm ready to build the honey and honeycomb farm, which I think I'm going to build in here. But first I need my redstone boxes, and yes, I finally dyed them red, which should make finding things a little bit easier. Now, the farm's going to go over in this corner just here, and these areas will be covered with glass to make a kind of dome shape. But first, let's get all the redstone in place. All that's needed now is the minecart chests, and that's pretty much most of it done. Now, before I add the bee's nest, I just need a couple of things. First, I need some glass, and we should have a fair amount of cactus now. Yep, that's plenty. And maybe a bit more sand. And throw those in the smelter. I just hope the green glass looks okay. Now, the only thing I need is flowers, and lots of them. And that should just about do it. Okay, let's try adding the green glass and see how it looks. Actually, that's not bad. Yeah, I like that. And I think it'll look even better once we get in some more of the details. So now I just need to go ahead and place in the flowers. Yes, I actually really like that a lot. Now, to finish it off, I just need to add the bees nests and fill the dispensers with glass bottles and shears. That way we can collect both honey and honeycomb. Okay, that is no way near enough bottles. Man, I'm gonna need a lot more glass, which means I need tons of sand. Okay, let's just hope that makes enough. Jeez, that took so much more glass than I expected. But everything is in place now, including the shears. And in case they run out, we can top them up by using these minecart chests here. So all I have to do now is finally add the bees nests. You know what? That is looking pretty awesome. So it's time to leave the farm to do its thing while I go and do mine, I guess. Let's get building. So, there's still a lot of work to do, but already I think this build adds so much to the cave, and the change of roof colour really does brighten things up. Now I still have a lot of texturing to do, and maybe I'll add some overgrown vines hanging from the ceiling, but it's probably easier if we get the buildings all in place first. But I will need a few materials first, so let's quickly head over to the mob farm. Awesome, we still have plenty of bones. And while we're here, let's quickly repair our tools. And now I should be able to make tons of moss and harvest it with my awesome hoe. I have no idea if that's enough, but almost a double chest worth should keep me going for a while. I definitely need a moss farm at some point, but I'll get to that at another time. For now, the only thing I need is amethyst and calcite. And luckily, I stumbled across a couple of geodes while I was mining. So... okay, that should just about do it for now. I will be using the amethyst and moss in a little while, but first I want to make a start on the pumpkin farm, which is going to sit somewhere around here. So it's probably best to start with the actual building, then we can design the farm to fit inside. So let's work some magic. Well, that took me longer than expected, and texturing is so tough, especially the ceiling, but it is slowly coming together. And the barn itself turned out great. It probably still needs a few details, but overall I think I'm pretty happy with it. Next up is time to get the farm in place, and I've already made some space so it should fit in nicely. So first, let's make a water stream down to the storage area so that we can filter the items into the last spot. Now the items can drop off here and go straight into the storage system. And let's add the pumpkins to the item filter before I forget. Now let's just make a little space here, and we can place some hopper lines so that we can collect 100% of the drops. The item should go into here and then pop out the dropper into the stream, which flows straight into the storage system. And for the actual farm, I'm using mud as it works much like a slab. This means that the hoppers underneath will pick up every drop. Now, I just need to do a little redstone magic. place in some pumpkin seeds, and then cover it all up with some glass. Now the farm is all in place and looking pretty awesome, so I can just leave it here to do its thing. But before I call this one done, I need to add a stairway and maybe some kind of storage room upstairs. Okay, I think this one has turned out really cool. The farms down here look awesome and it all seems to be working. Then upstairs we have a kind of storage area, just for detail really, but I think it looks pretty cool. Now I just need to tidy up a few of these glowberry vines with some shears and maybe a little bone meal for the extra lighting. Oh yeah, that looks so much better now. Now I just need to finish off this corner to complete this side of the cave. Then I can start working on this corner over here, as we still have the villager trading hall to build, which means moving all the villagers. Yeah, like that's going to be a lot of fun. So, I guess we shouldn't waste any time. Okay, that was tough, I'm not gonna lie, but that's a lot of work done now, and I'd say we're about 1/3 of the way done with the texturing, so it's getting there. And now this side is looking pretty awesome, although I still need to do an interior. So let me know in the comments if you guys have any ideas of what we could use this build for. I mean, it's only small, so we can't do much, but at least it finishes off this corner. And next up it's time for the trading hall, and I was thinking maybe some stripped crimson stem would look pretty cool. Or maybe not. Oh well, I guess that means a quick trip to the Nether. That should be plenty. It's not loads, but it should be enough. And finally, we can start on the villager trading hall. Now I've already made some markings to help me with the layout, so it should fit nicely into this corner. The spruce planks are where the zombies will go, and the villagers will be standing on pistons placed in these holes. But let's get the floor in place first. Now the floor's in place, I just have a little bit of redstone to do, which is super simple. So for each villager, I simply place a sticky piston, a trapdoor, redstone dust, and a lever. See? Easy peasy. See? Open close. Haha, it works. Okay, so let's do the rest. Oh yeah, and don't forget to isolate the redstone. Now I need to build up these sections so that we can trap both the villagers and the zombies. So let's get back to work. Okay, that's looking good. And now for the easy part, getting the villagers in place. And yes, that was a joke. So first I need some lecterns, which means loads of bookshelves. And luckily, I raided some ages ago from one of the dungeons. So I kind of have a few spare, but 1 stack should be more than enough. Now, let's get those villagers. Okay, we have villager number 1. Wait, where are you going? Ooh, someone's eager. Nice, let's keep moving, buddy. Like, where the hell did you come from? There must be a dark spot somewhere. And we have our first villager. Excellent. And still loads more to go. So, let's place down some more lecterns and repeat, I guess. And we have a villager with no trade. You're going to give me trouble, aren't you? Come on, get off my stairs. Ah, yes, go back in your hole, you stupid hobbit. Sorry, I mean nitwit. You know what, I don't even know anymore. Okay, that's the 2 farmers in. Sorry buddy, we only have full-time positions, so you're going nowhere. And which spot are you going to choose? Ah, good choice, my friend. Okay, that looks like we've got all of the main villagers with trades in place. But we have a few new villagers, so I'm gonna leave them to grow up and then we can get some good trades before I move them. Now we just need to get some zombies. Let's just grab some name tags. And of course it has to be Dave. Sorry if your name's Dave. Let's dig down here because I'm pretty sure there's a cave. Aha, perfect. And we already have some volunteers. Okay, like we don't need that many. Seriously, the rest of you are just in the way, so please sod off. Okay, that's 1 trapped. So let's put a name tag on you. And now we just have 3 more to trap. That's 2, 3, and 4. Now I should be able to release them down to the chambers just below the villagers. Excellent, that's them all in place now, so we just need to test if it actually works. First, I need a fermented spider eye. Why is that not working? Okay, I'm a noob, I needed brown mushrooms. Let's fill these with water. And the blaze powder is in, so now I can add the fermented spider eye. And gunpowder should make it a splash potion of weakness. Okay. Now, let's drop this villager down and get the zombies' attention. Now, if we stand back... Okay, I think it's working. Yes, let's bring him up. Okay, dude, you're a zombie, so have this. Okay, I feel bad, so here, have a golden apple. It'll make you feel better. And achievement unlocked. Excellent. So now we know it's working, although you are still well overpriced, dude. Still, we can work on that later, as right now I need to put a roof and a building over this thing. So let's get to work. Gosh, this cave is looking so cool now, and I'm loving the crimson wood for the trading hall. It's not a block I would usually use, but it actually works great for this build. Plus, it adds a nice change in colour. Next, I think it's time to get back to some detailing, as I still have a lot of work to finish up, including another house, an amethyst geode, and lots of detail. So, let's get this place finished. The first thing I wanted to do was add 1 more building to the slope leading up to the nether portal. So I made some changes to the walkway and started planning out the layout for the build. It was a little bit awkward building the house into the slope, but I felt like it was a great spot for the final building inside the cave. I used packed mud and mud bricks to keep with the theme, and then went ahead and used spruce for the roof so that it would naturally blend with the cliff. Once the house was complete, I decided to try and add a bit more colour to the cave by adding a custom amethyst geode. I built this into the wall and then spent several hours going around the cave, texturing the walls and trying to make it blend with everything else to make it feel a bit more natural. Once that was all in place, I went around the rest of the cave, texturing the walls and the ceiling, which really added so much more detail and really finished off the cave. I also added in a bunch of glowberries and another custom mushroom over in the corner next to my starter house. Inside the mushroom, I made a small work area to make it feel a little bit like a kind of market stall or a small shop. I then finished up the cave with some cool hanging lanterns using shroom lights and mangrove wood. And then for a little extra detail, I added in some custom hanging vines and switched most of the grass blocks for moss as I preferred the vibrant green. And finally I decided to change up a couple of the roofs for mangrove wood to add that little bit of extra colour. And finally, after several weeks of work, I think this cave is finally looking pretty awesome and feeling much more like it belongs in this world. Plus, all the new farms will certainly come in handy for my future plans. The only question left is, what should I build next? A castle? A village? Or maybe you have a better idea? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you in the next one.